We are now just about 2 hours from polls closing across our area on this election day. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight for First Coast News at 5. I'm Heather Crawford.
And I'm Anthony Austin. Today's election, of course, I don't have to tell you this. You all know it is a big one nationwide and here in Florida. People are casting their ballots in the race for the White House. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris vying for the job.
But important items are on Florida's ballot, too. That includes Amendment 3, which would legalize recreational marijuana if it passes. And Amendment 4, that one would enshrine the right to get an abortion before fetal viability or when necessary to protect the patient's health. Enshrine that into Florida's Constitution. Now, those two, like all the amendments, need 60% of voters to vote yes in order to pass.
And thousands headed to the polls in our area. I want you to take a look at this video next to me from two different precincts that you see here, one in St. Johns County, the other in Duval. And most voting locations had pretty much no issues, but one in Duval County was briefly evacuated after a call about a suspicious package. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office bomb squad cleared the precinct located at the Beaver Street Enterprise Center. Our Zach Wilcox is joining us live now from Beaver Street. And Zach, I understand that that location actually closed for about 40 minutes.
Yeah, Anthony, the supervisor of elections says he's been doing this for about 12 years now, and he's always expecting something to go wrong with either electronics or a door that's locked that isn't supposed to be. But having to bring the bomb squad in for a suspicious package call, that is certainly a new one for him. So they had to set up a perimeter around here while the bomb squad went in, and you mentioned it, about 40 minutes that they had to shut down. Fortunately, the supervisor of elections says JSO didn't find anything dangerous. No one was injured, and they were able to open this thing back up. In fact, voters are heading on in there now, getting off of work and being able to cast their ballots. But he mentioned that during that 40 minutes, they estimate about 20 voters would have come up to try and vote at this location. So they gave them three options. The poll workers that were outside of the perimeter, that is, told them that they could either wait with them, or they could come back later, or they could go into downtown and vote at the Monroe headquarters office. So we talked with one voter who waited throughout this bomb threat just because she felt compelled to make sure that her vote was cast today.
Because our vote counts. We need to keep going. Like, you don't stop.
So it does kind of get your adrenaline going, you know. It was such a calm day. We were like going, this thing's running too smooth, and then we got that notice. We were glad our voters were able to still continue voting.
You could probably tell from that voter didn't want to go on camera, but did want to make sure that her sentiments were heard. And this was closed from about quarter after noon until just before 1 o'clock. Holland says there are no plans at this point to extend voting beyond that 7 o'clock cutoff, so you still have to be in line by 7 o'clock in order to cast your ballot. And he says that the other 159 precincts, they didn't have any issues, and every single precinct was able to open up on time at 7 a.m. this morning. In Newtown, Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.
Zach, thank you. And as a reminder, if you still have not gone out to vote, as long as you're in line, as you just heard Zach say, by 7 o'clock, you will be allowed to cast your ballot. By the way, here's what you need to bring with you when you head to the polls. In Florida, you need a photo ID with a signature. In Georgia, you can vote with a photo ID. And if you have a mail-in ballot, at this point now it's too late to mail it in. You must return it to the supervisor of elections in your county by 7 o'clock tonight.
And an important update for Glenn County voters in Georgia. The North Glenn voting precinct, located at Golden Isles Baptist Church, has extended its voting hours. You will now have until 7:35 to vote if that is your precinct. That information coming to us from the Glenn County Board of Elections and Registrations. The location opened at 7 this morning as scheduled, but there was a delay in voter check-in by about 35 minutes. Again, voting at Golden Isles Baptist Church has been extended through 7:35.
Now, if you still need to vote, we have links on our website to search your precinct by county. We'll send that to your phone. Just text the word vote to the number on your screen, 904-633-2402.
All right, let's talk about voter turnout across the area. As of 4:30 in Duval County, roughly 66.8% of voters have cast a ballot. About 41% of those votes coming from registered Republicans, while here we have about 38% when it comes to Democrats. And a further 17.7% have come from no party affiliation, which is, of course, independent voters. In St. Johns County, more than 188,000 people have voted, 57% of ballots coming from Republicans, while 21% have come from Democrats. Another 18.6% have come from independent voters. All right, let's take a look at Clay County now. You see the numbers here next to me. In Clay County, 76% of voters turning out, about 60% of ballots coming from Republicans, and about 20%, 19.96% here coming from Democrats. 17.4% of ballots have come from independents. In Georgia, Glenn County showing 58.1% turnout with 35,000 votes, and in Camden County, 53.9% turnout. Election results in Georgia will begin rolling in as polls close at 7 p.m.
And we are nearing the end of the race to the White House. Former President Donald Trump has been campaigning to return to the Oval Office for almost 2 years now, while Vice President Kamala Harris entering the race only a couple of months ago. She entered in August. So today in Palm Beach County Convention Center in Palm Beach County, that is where former President Donald Trump is hosting a watch party. He will be there along with his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, and hundreds of other supporters. Now, earlier today, this is video you're looking at, Trump voted at his precinct in Palm Beach County. After casting his ballot, the former president said he ran a great campaign, calling it, quote, the best of the three. A reporter asked him there, regardless of the results, if he is done after this election, to which the former president responded he would think so.
Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris is hosting her campaign's watch party in Washington, D.C. at her alma mater, Howard University. This is a live look at the location at this hour. The vice president actually voted by mail in this general election. She posted this message on Sunday showing her sealed ballot and encouraging people to go vote.
The Duval County and Republican Party both hosting watch parties tonight as polls close and those results start to come in. In just a moment, we're going to check in with Riley Phillips live from the Democrats' watch party.
But first, Rich Donnelly is joining us live in downtown Jacksonville, where the Duval GOP is hosting its watch party tonight. Rich.
Anthony, that's right. The Republicans are hoping for clean sweeps in the election from the president down to state representatives. Florida's electoral votes went to Donald Trump in each of the last two elections, but they actually went to Democrat Barack Obama in the two elections prior to that. The Duval GOP wants to continue the streak of Florida staying red in this year's election, and that extends down to their other elected officials like senators and representatives. Tonight, people at the Duval GOP say they expect both Congressman John Rutherford and Aaron Bean to make appearances along with city council reps and other state reps. We do want to note that while Republicans with the Duval GOP are very optimistic about tonight's races specific to the state of Florida, Joe Biden actually beat Donald Trump in Duval County by 19,000 votes in 2020, and that was the first time since the Republican presidential candidate did not win Duval County, get this, since 1976 when Jimmy Carter carried the county. We'll see if Jacksonville goes back to red when the votes are counted. Reporting live in downtown Jacksonville, Rich Donnelly, First Coast News, on your side.
Rich, thank you. And tonight, members of the Duval County Democratic Party and candidates are going to be watching the results come in together at the Cuba Libre Lounge in Jacksonville. Riley Phillips is live now outside that restaurant. Riley, I know you spoke with the chair of the Duval Democratic Party. How's he feeling on this election night?
Yes, Heather, Chairman Daniel Henry says he's feeling good today. He says their headquarters stayed busy all afternoon with volunteers coming in, making those last-minute phone calls to voters. They had their last text bank this afternoon. People also were out canvassing one last time before polls closed. Henry told me he's feeling encouraged by voter turnout so far. We also talked about how this has been a unique and historic election, with President Biden stepping down over the summer and Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the Democratic nominee. But Henry says that actually unified the party here locally.
Has allowed for us to frankly consolidate support around her candidacy and bring the party together, not because we obviously want to defeat President Trump, but I think people are genuinely excited about what her presidency will represent and the platform and the issues that she's running on to make everyday people's lives a lot better.
And the Duval Dems are hosting a watch party here tonight. Many of the Democratic candidates on the ballot are expected to be here tonight. Henry also told me they are keeping their eyes on the amendments on the ballot. Of course, they're hoping for the passage of Amendment 3 and Amendment 4 tonight. Live on the South Side, Riley Phillips, First Coast News, on your side.